allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Lincoln County Commission regular session, October 17th at 6 p.m. Members present, Darrell Baker clerk, Charles Vance president, Charles McCain commissioner, and Kerry Matthews Jr. commissioner. The meeting is called to order by Mary Napper, and I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on September 26, 2013 at 6 p.m.
I'll move. Second. Yes?
Yes.
And now we're to public comments.
Is there anyone here that's not on the agenda that'd like to speak, Ms. Sharp?
I got two things here. I received a phone call last week from a lady that's doing the 4-H program at Midway Elementary School. She said the students had asked her about recycling, so she went to the principal's office and asked him about doing a recycling program, and he said absolutely, and she asked him what he wanted to recycle, and he says everything. So our Solid Waste Commission will be meeting soon to discuss our strategy on how to handle this project, and this could be a monumental task. Helen and I have been doing the hauling with our personal vehicle, and I feel that we're going to need some outside help besides what the Solid Waste Board can give. Sometime in the future, we're going to need the help of the Commission to help us transport these recycled items to various locations. As soon as we have a meeting, we'll report back to the Commission. We've already been tossing around some ideas of how to work this out, but in the meantime, you all can be tossing around in your head how you want to help us. So, but we will need the help of the Commission on this and probably some other volunteers to do it, because if they recycle everything in the school, that could possibly mean the aluminum and stuff that they use in the kitchen. So it's really going to be a huge project. The second thing I want to talk about is the 2013 West Virginia Educational Conference on Litter Control and Solid Waste Management that we went to Canaan Valley this last weekend. First of all, I would publicly like to thank you very much for paying our way up there, mine and Bill Bryant's. It was an interesting conference. We had a judge there, Honorable Judge Larry Potter. He was an environmental judge from Shelby County, Tennessee. And I really was inspired by what he has done in Tennessee and Memphis. And he told us some different stories of some things. One guy, older guy, didn't have much money, but his place was trashy. And they kept giving him citations and citations. And finally one day he went to the judge and he says, "Judge, it's thousands of dollars here in fines." He said, "I can't pay it. What can I do to get this thing straightened out?" He says, "Clean it up." And he said, "I have the ability to forgive all these fines down to $50. You clean it up and I'll only charge you $50. So he got it cleaned up. So, and I'm really inspired by that, and I'm going to work on that project maybe in a month or whatever after we get this Midway thing straightened out. We had some really good speakers up there. We had the Honorable John Unger from the West Virginia Senate. He was there, and he went to an elementary school, and he was telling, and so the kids was asking him, "Who do you work for?" And he said, "I work for you." And so after the little talk was over with, one little boy went up to the counter. It was lunchtime, and he asked the lady up there, he says, "Can I have a plate to take a plate of food?" And she said, "Well, honey, didn't you get enough to eat?" And he says, "Yeah, but," he said, "I want a plate to take home to my little brother, or he won't have anything to eat tonight." So Unger sent a bill through the legislature to have it so that families could have food to eat. And he says that normally the person that sends these things through the legislature and all, they get the pen that Tomlin signs these bills with. But this time, Tomlin had the little boy to sit beside of him. And when it was all said and done, he gave the little boy the pen to take home with him. So Tomlin asked him, he says, "Son," he says, "what do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, "I'm going to be the governor." So we had, it was really good. We had a lot of speakers from other different solid waste authorities to talk. But the most important thing is, first of all, I always try to bring y'all back a present. They wasn't giving away much this year, so this is the best I could come up with. But I'm saving the best for last. I'm sure everybody can use an extra keychain if it's nothing for their shed. That's got the solid waste thing on it. Well, thank you. The best thing is, out of a possible 300 volunteers, there's one of these every year. I was given the honor of being the Volunteer of the Year for 2013 for the state of West Virginia for the Solid Waste Association. It's nine keeping.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a fine looking fella on there.
Yeah, well, he got one in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had announced up there that this was the first time in the history of the Solid Waste Association that a husband and wife team have both won the same prize.
Congratulations.
You guys are deserving for sure. Very deserving.
We're lucky to have you guys, we really are.
One other thing on the Solid Waste Authority real quick, the electronic collection event that we had the end of September, we wanted to thank the commission for the $3,500 that you gave for that effort. We collected over 25,000 pounds of electronics that day, so a little more than 2 tractor and trailer loads. So it was a big event, and very successful, and we wanted to thank you.
Appreciate that.
Commissioner?
Look, I'm kind of going by the way I saw it.
Okay.
Mr. You with AEP, aren't you?
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to come before you today. Just want to give you a couple brief updates on a couple of cases that we have before the PSC right now. I'm Steve Stewart with Appalachian Power. We have one case, I know both these are near and dear to your all's heart. One is a tree trimming case. And we realize that we need to do a better job keeping our right-of-ways cleared out, and we've got a case before the PSC right now, and we expect to have a ruling on that within the next couple months to get back on a 4-year cycle, which means every 4 years, every circuit that we have be trimmed out. And we realize we need that. We have for a while, and hopefully the PSC will rule favorably in that case, and we think they will. The second one is a asset transfer case, and that's where we petitioned the PSC to purchase the remainder of Unit 3 at the John Amos plant there in Charleston, and half of the Mitchell plant, which is up in the Wheeling area from Ohio Power. They own those plants, part of those plants, and we're going to have to close about 4 generating units that we have in 2015 because of the Clean Air Act, and so we're going to need to replace that generation. And these are coal-fired units that have already been scrubbed, and they're compliant with Clean Air Act right now. And so those 2 cases we expect to have rulings on, and burn a lot of West Virginia coal in those plants too. So if that, I'll take any questions you may have.
I don't really have any. Anyone from the audience have any questions for me? We appreciate you coming by every once in a while.
Well, anytime you have a question, you have my contact information there. I'll be glad to come back anytime and update you on anything we're doing.
Thank you, sir. How about you, Mr. John Grass? You had your hand up.
Yeah, a while back, I had talked to a few commissioners about a permanent dumping site as well as a recycling site, and I'd like to see a discussion opened up on that in the future. It seems that we still have a lot of garbage problems around, and people can't afford to pay for garbage, and have it manned part-time, and what we get off the recycling of tires, electronics, washers, dryers, and et cetera, that could pretty well pay for a part-time person to be there so many days a week.
Have you all talked about anything like that?
No, would love to though.
I think that'd be who I would suggest we might want to get you in touch with solid waste people and talk,
Yeah.
and you all kind of coordinate things. And maybe bring back what, you think might,
Yeah.
record for a location, all those different things.
Yeah, it's like that gentleman that had all the trash. We probably can't afford $25, $30 a month to pay to the waste company, so he just throws it on his property. And maybe that would eliminate a lot of that.
Appreciate it, thank you. I think Ron was, I had his hand was up there, whatever.
I just wanted to briefly say, since you have the Lincoln PSD board on the agenda, that I'm here tonight primarily because somebody else went to the state government and found the forms that said when my term was. I recall very clearly when the term began, when the term was renewed, and how long it was supposed to last. Commissioner McCann, I thought last year had found the proper documentation on it, but perhaps he did not. I do know that I was appointed after, and I'm going to be very blunt here, as people probably have figured out that I am. I was appointed after I had asked to be appointed a couple of times, after I talked to Lyle Stowers. And he said that he would talk to Mr. McCann about me being appointed to Lincoln PSD. I don't know whether he did or he didn't, but I know that 2 or 3 months later, in late 2008 or early 2009, I was appointed. I know that I was told when I was appointed that it was a very short term and that the term ended on June 30th, 2009, which would have been 6 or 7 months later. I then had a subsequent discussion with Mr. Sowers, at which I said, well, I've got a 6-month term, that may be all I ever get. He said, no, I'll talk to him about you being appointed to a full term. So I came walking in the courthouse, working for the Lincoln Journal, and Judy Johnson, who was then the county administrator, motioned for me to come in the county commission office. I walked in. She said, the county commission appointed you to a full term. I don't know whether you need to be sworn in again or not. Do you think you need to be sworn in? You've been sworn in once. We kind of laughed about it. She gave me a copy of an order saying that I was appointed till 2015. That's what I believed from that point forward. Last year, the issue came up. On June 30th, 2012, I believe y'all appointed somebody named Ruby to a position, and Mr. McCann, Judy was on vacation somewhere, and Mr. McCann called me, or I called him 2 or 3 days later, and he said, well, I checked, and you're okay, your term runs till 2015. Now, that was what was submitted to the Secretary of State. That was what was submitted to the Public Service Commission. As I said, I've never been on any public board trying to win a popularity contest. I try to do what I believe is the correct thing to do all of the time. I don't know if you took a vote of the users of the Lincoln Public Service District Board, if they'd want me, or Public Service District, if they'd want me on the board or not. Maybe not. I'm confident that Mr. Mosteller doesn't want me on. And I believe that that's been demonstrated for the last 1.5 years. Now, I didn't do anything other than walk away, and I did talk to you, Commissioner Vance, and I did talk to you, Commissioner Matthews, about the fact that my term continued and it had not expired. I did not resign. My term has not expired. I walked in that office 2 or 3 weeks ago when the material was found from the Secretary of State's office and informed the office staff that I'm on the board. I don't believe I've been treated in the last 3 weeks like I am, but I don't see how I'm not on the board when from 2009, 10, 11, and 12, it was clearly reported to the Secretary of State's office that the term ran to 2015, which is exactly what Judy told me on a 6-year term, and that's what the terms are. And I don't see how we get it back to 2013. So I think there was something wrong there. But again, I was not the person who went and researched this. I was not the person who went and looked for it. Frankly, I was resigned to the fact that you were going to do something else. But I do now believe, based upon the clear preponderance of the evidence, that I'm on the board, that an effort has been made for the last 2 years to shorten my term improperly and illegally. And while I'm not threatening any kind of action against anybody, I don't want you to even think that. This is a $100 a month job. Lord, I probably could make better than that picking up cans, Doris. But, but, I am outraged that what appears to be my civil rights and my constitutional rights have been violated and are repeatedly being violated, and all I ask for is fair consideration from all three of you. I have no preset agenda to do anything other than serve the people of the Lincoln Public Service District as I have on the Woodville Water Project, on a sewer for Allen Creek, or any other problem that anybody has ever brought to my attention. I have tried to deal with it fairly, honestly. Now, I'm not perfect. I was very sick a year and a half ago. I fell behind on paying bills. I openly admit that. I've admitted it in my newspaper column. I will admit it here today. I wasn't the most reliable person to make it to a meeting a year and a half ago, but I am now. And I will be at meetings. I will do my job, and my job runs till June 30th, 2015.
Yes, sir. Yep.
May I, with your permission, may I defer to the sheriff, and then may I speak after him, please?
Okay.
He's had his hand up before me.
I knew he was gonna take a lot longer than you.
I won't take long. It's probably start looking at my mug. But first, I want to thank Ms. Sharp back there. I don't remember where I've done it public or not for the $200 for the bulletproof vest. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. But anyway, the three commissioners, what I gotta say, I'll make it quick, make a liar out of Doc. Have you folks received this? One of these? Okay. What I'm asking is take a look at it. You don't have to do it tonight. You don't have to make a decision on it tonight. I just like for you to just take a look at it, and you know, I like to be fair with everyone, treat everyone, you know, equal, and I just don't feel that my tax rolls have been treated equally, been treated fairly, as far as that goes. But anyway, you can look at what I got there, the scale there. But and again, you know, if you can't give me an answer now, that's fine. Next county commission meeting, we can discuss it. But you can look at it and see what's going on. But and one more other thing that I want to discuss is what we're going to discuss together. And this is what I've come up with. We all know that the drugs and the drug dealers out here, they're running rampant in Lincoln County. And it's not getting any better. And we fight it every day, what deputies I got, and we do the best we can do. The people of the county, I'm getting a lot of complaints, not necessarily complaints, they're tired of these dope heads stealing what they work hard for, and I don't blame them. They steal this stuff to sell it, to buy dope with. And I'm getting a lot of people coming to me, commenting on it. What can we do? What are we going to do? Well, I've come up with a plan. Look at it. And I've discussed it with my chief deputies, and I want the people of the county, what we look like we got a pretty good crowd here tonight, and I want to tell you all what my plan is this is what I'm going to do. After November 1, I'm going to have 2 deputies. One lives in Harts Creek, and the other one graduating from the State Police Academy November 1. He's going to be living in Harts Creek. I didn't want to have to zone these people out, but I'm going to try. I'll try anything to improve, try to help the people of this county. But those 2 deputies in Harts Creek, Mid-Kit is going to be the cutoff limit for them. And I'm gonna put 2 deputies in Allen Creek. When they come on duty, they are to head to Allen Creek. I'd like to have a place over there where they could go in, if they make a arrest after hours, they could go in and do their paperwork, hit the 4-lane, and go to the jail, the Crossbar Motel, we call it, down Barbecue. Instead of coming all the way back to the courthouse and doing their paperwork, and then heading to the motel. But Griffithsville is gonna be the cutoff line on them, on the ones in Allen Creek. I've got to have some deputies in these areas. And what we're gonna do, if I could have 1 more or 2, I could fill the middle with another with just 1 more deputy. I could fill the middle from Medcalf to Griffithsville with these deputies. And I'm gonna try that and see if it'll work. And the only reason for these deputies to be out of Allen Creek or be out of Harsh Creek is on emergency, like a gun call or a backup call. That's the only reason why I want them to leave their area. I'm gonna try it, see if it'll work. If it will, fine. If it don't, we'll just have to back up and punt again. Sure.
Is there any room in the budget for like a drug enforcement unit, maybe 2 officers? You know, that would,
No, sir, I wish there was. I've discussed that, even about a canine, a dog. I'd love to have one, but we just don't have it in the budget. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know, down the road, I think it would be good to have one, and, but